Most people don't grocery shop this way, but maybe they should. Hey, Frugal Peeps, Joel and Christy here, and today, what are we doing?
We're going to be talking about how most people don't grocery shop the way that we do. Maybe they should, but we will just say as a disclaimer, we're going to tell you quite a few things that we do that save us money, and you don't necessarily have to do them all. And you also have to figure out what works best for you. So hopefully these ideas will give you some ideas of ways that you can save money too.
All right, let's do it. Number one is most people don't meal plan. Now, we make a flexible meal plan, which helps us to avoid food waste, but also takes into account my ever-changing flexible schedule every week. Flexibility is a must, but reducing food waste is a real priority. Both are possible. And we're going to link some of our meal planning videos in the description box for you to take a look at.
Number two, most people do not shop at home first. We always inventory our refrigerator, freezer, and pantry first. This helps us avoid food waste and helps us use the things that we've already purchased. And to add to that,
number three is most people don't shop their refrigerator or freezer first. A lot of people start with their pantry and then they move to their refrigerator or freezer. We start with our refrigerator and freezer first because those are the places that hold our most expensive items and the things that we run through the most. Our pantry normally holds things that we don't use as quickly and doesn't cost as much as what's in our freezer or our refrigerator, like our meats and our chickens and all those things like that. Those things that we want to use on a regular basis.
Number four, most people do not keep a list of the meals that they use regularly. Meals that they have realized that their family really loves. So when they sit down to do meal plans, they always fall back on the exact same ones that they always do. And maybe that is keeping them from having much variety because they fall back on the same ones every time. We keep a list of all the recipes that we use and have loved in the past, and that gives us the ability to switch it up every time we make a meal plan. We don't just fall back on the same 4 or 5 meals every time.
Number five, most people shop the circulars and rebate apps before they shop at home. Now, we shop at home first, then we make our meal plan, and then we check the rebate apps and the circulars. And if we see a great deal, like on meats or chickens or things like that, if we see a great deal, we may go ahead and buy it to stock up on things that we may run out of if it makes sense. However, we never ignore what we already have at home because of a circular deal, because it could lead to food waste. Now, piggybacking off of that.
Number six, most people automatically assume that circular deals are automatically great deals. And most people will tell you that you should use the Flip app so that you can check the circulars for the stores in your area, and therefore purchasing the things that you find in those circulars that you find in the Flip app. While that can be a great benefit, it doesn't always mean that you're going to get the best value. And so therefore we recommend that you check the Flip app, but then also look at Walmart or Aldi or other stores in your area to make sure that you're getting the best price. The problem is that with stores like Aldi and Walmart, their everyday low price may be lower than some of those great deals that you found in the circular. So it's not to say that the circular deals aren't good. It's just that you should always price compare with those stores because their everyday low prices won't show up in a circular, so the Flip app just won't know that they exist.
And number seven is most people don't use the rebate apps cautiously. Now, there are two things about rebate apps to be cautious of. Number one, you might fall into the trap of buying something you don't necessarily need just to get a couple of dollars back, and then you not use it and it go to waste. It could be a good deal, but not if you're convincing yourself to buy something that you don't actually need or that you normally would never buy just to get the rebate. Secondly, sometimes it's not that great of a deal. You might get the same deal or a better deal or the same product cheaper in either a generic version or a bulk size. We always compare the prices between those products and other options to make sure it's a really good deal.
8, most people shop too fast. Now, we've been told before that people assume that we must spend a lot of time in the grocery store checking all these prices, and it's probably not as much as you think. We've even done a series of videos or at least one I know, where we actually showed how much time we spent in the stores while we were shopping. We showed it on our watch clock. We showed what time it was when we went in and what time it was when we came out, so that you'd know how much time we actually spent. And it really wasn't as much as people thought. But slowing down and checking the prices will help you to avoid making spontaneous decisions that end up costing you in the long run.
Number 9, most people assume that the unit cost is correct. Now, we've shown this before in the groceries and also in household products. Sometimes the stores have marked unit costs incorrectly or chosen to mark them differently on products that are sitting side by side each other. We've shown dishwasher towels before where one product was shown per ounce and the other one shown per each, and they were showing a different unit cost. And if you just flippantly looked at the unit cost, you might think one is cheaper than the other when it's actually not. These things can often cause you to make a purchase that isn't the best value for you because you assume that both are marked in the same way.
10, most people assume that generic is always the cheapest. And while probably 95% of the time that's true, I made up that stat, but I know it's not 100%. It can cause you to spend a little extra if you make the assumption that the generic is cheaper. It isn't always. And like I said, probably like 5% of the time we have found that it's just not true, that the generic is cheaper. And so that's why we always price compare, even if it's between generic or brand name. We say, wait a minute, is this the best price? And we look to make sure.
Number 11, most people assume that bulk buying is always the best value, but it's not. It's not always the best value. We suggest that you always check the unit cost to confirm that it is.
12, most people often buy the smaller packs of meat, like chicken, for example, that may only have 2 or 3 pieces in it. Now, if you are a small family, or if your recipe only calls for 2 or 3 pieces, you may be thinking, that's what size pack of chicken I should purchase because it's all I needed. But if you buy the family size packs and you divide them up, then it will last you. It's generally cheaper to buy the family size packs unless you find a great deal on the small ones. And those family size packs can be divided up and put in the freezer in smaller Ziploc bags.
Number 13, most people don't come home and properly store their produce and end up wasting it. What you do with your food when you get home is still a big part of grocery shopping that can save you a lot of money. We're going to link a video of how we store the produce that came from a Misfits market box. That video had a ton of tips on how to properly store produce.
14, most people never reevaluate their meal plan from week to week. So for us, we meal plan once a month. If you do this weekly, I still recommend that you reevaluate before you go grocery shopping the next week. But we do this, we reevaluate, we see if we need to buy any produce for the next week. We call that a fill-in haul. But it also helps us if Joel's schedule changed any during the week and I didn't get to a meal or anything. I get to reevaluate, change course with what I have listed and make those necessary changes so that it remains a flexible meal plan. And the bonus to that is that it helps me to make sure that I'm not wasting any food and that I'm saving the most money possible.
All right, well, that's our list.
That's right.
And these are things that we have learned from our experience that have saved us a lot of money in the long run.
That's right. And if you'd like to see more tips from us or have questions about how we apply these tips during our meal planning or grocery shopping trips, then be sure to check out the description where we'll have a lot of them linked.
If you have any tips that we missed, be sure to share them in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget, it's the long run. Give yourself a little grace.